The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. The fates, they say, weave the pattern of our lives. Some there are who believe that whatever happens to us is destined so to be, while others talk of free will. However it may be, certainly there is one element that touches all our lives, the element of the unexpected. How often have you asked, why did this happen to me? Rarely, if ever, have you found a satisfactory answer. So it was one fatal night with Nell Pearson, Mrs. Nell Pearson, widow, whose life was about to be shattered by unimaginable, unexpected horror.
Miss Mapes! Miss Mapes! Oh, good Lord, Charlie! Charlie, help! Where are you? I must go up myself. Miss Mapes! Miss Mapes! Oh, Charlie.
Oh, good Lord, Miss Pearson. Is that Miss Mapes screaming?
Yes.
I don't hear nothing now.
It came from her room. Oh, Charlie, I don't dare open the door.
Then guess I'll have to. Oh, no. No. She's dead.
Our mystery drama, The Lodger, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Kim Hunter. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. The fates brought unexpected horror that night to Nell Pearson's house on 9th Street, where she rented rooms. Yet one wonders, was it altogether unexpected? Could the frightful things that happened have been avoided had she been more alert, say, more sensitive to warnings of impending tragedy? No matter now. What matters is that earlier that day, in the afternoon, she had no idea that death, in its most grisly form, was shortly to enter her house.
Oh, my goodness, Mrs. Pearson. Oh, my goodness.
What is it, Miss Mapes?
The headlines, look.
Ripper strikes again. Oh, good heavens, that's awful, perfectly awful.
Read it, Mrs. Pearson, read it.
I am.
No, out loud. I mean, I want to hear.
But you just finished reading. Well, all right. The Ripper claimed another victim last night.
Thursday night. He always kills on a Thursday.
This time, another attractive widow, Mrs. Henry Dodd.
Always the widow, always the widow.
Miss Mapes, please. The body, gruesomely slashed and mutilated, was discovered by a neighbor who, hearing Mrs. Dodd's hysterical screams, rushed to her apartment. There she found the comely young widow lying in a pool of blood.
Oh.
And a message scrawled in red lipstick across one wall. Stop me. Please stop me.
Excuse me, Miss Pearson. Which windows you want washed first?
I don't know, Charlie. You want to get to that today?
Well, it's kind of warm out. I thought it'd be a good time to get started on them.
Well, you decide, Charlie. Suit yourself.
There's been another one, Charlie.
Another what, Miss Mapes?
Murder by the Ripper. Another widow, like always.
You don't say. That makes a fifth, don't it?
The fifth in 5 weeks. One a week for the past 5 weeks. And always on a Thursday night between 11 and 12. And always a widow.
Oh, I better change my night out.
What do you mean, Charlie?
Yeah, well, Thursday's my night out, and you're a widow, Miss Pearson. You never know. The police might start putting two and two together, isn't
Oh,
it?
Charlie, you and your jokes. I don't think that one's particularly funny.
I'm sorry, Miss Pearson. It's just funny, that's all.
Well, take your fun out on those windows.
Well, I'm getting right to it, Miss Pearson. I'm getting right to it.
Maybe he wasn't joking, Charlie.
Not joking?
Well, Thursday is his night out, and you are a widow, and, well, who knows?
Oh, Miss Mapes, if I had your imagination... excuse me. Yes?
How do you do? My name is Tony Adams. I saw your signed rooms. Wondered if you had a vacancy, maybe.
Oh, yes, I do. Won't you come in?
Thank you.
I have a room on the second floor front. It's very spacious, light, and airy, too.
Fine, I'll take it.
You haven't even seen it.
I've seen you.
I don't go with the room, Mr. Adams.
Oh, sorry. I meant it as a compliment, not a proposition.
I'll show you the room. This way.
May I ask your name?
Pearson. Mrs. Eleanor Pearson. Nell. You've been in town long, Mr. Adams?
Oh, no, a few weeks. I've been staying at a hotel, but, well, I never did like hotel living.
Oh, what do you do?
Reporter? I'm a reporter on the City Sentinel.
Oh, that must be interesting. My husband always said newspaper work must be fascinating.
What did he do?
The room's this way. Why, he was a riveter. Putting in beams on new skyscrapers.
Dangerous work. You've been a widow very long?
Oh, it's close to 3 years now that... How do you know I'm a widow?
Don't look so surprised. For one thing, you talk about your husband in the past tense, and for another, you're not wearing a wedding ring, and, well, rooming houses are run by widows more often than not.
Oh, you're very observant.
I'm a reporter, and that's my job.
Yes, I suppose it is. Here's the room.
Fine, just fine.
You haven't seen it. You're not even looking at it.
Why look at a room when I can look at you?
Mr. Adams, let's get something straight. I've had more than one male boarder make a pass at me, and everyone found himself out on the street in short order, bag and baggage. Now, if you're after a room, fine. But if you're after something else...
Ah, come on now, Nell.
Mrs. Pearson, if you don't mind.
Okay. I've got to get back to the paper. See you later.
But you haven't even asked the price.
It'll be okay, whatever it is.
It's $80 a week, including breakfast and dinner.
Whatever you say. Nell, whatever you say.
Well, I never. Doesn't look at the room, doesn't care about the price, just drops his top coat on the bed and he's off. Well, I'd better hang his coat in the closet. It'll get all creased. Oh, no, what was that? Fell out of his pocket. Rolled under the bed. Would roll under the bed, of course. Make me get down on my knees and... Why, it's a lipstick. What in the world would he be doing with a lipstick?
Oh, now why did you go and turn the TV set off, Charlie? You know I like to see who played what.
No, I'm sorry, Miss Mapes. I forgot. Pretty good movie, huh?
Oh, it was all right.
You like it, Miss Pearson?
What? What'd you say, Charlie?
Well, just asked if you liked the movie.
How could she? She didn't even see it.
Of course I did.
Well, you may have been looking at it for 2 hours, Mrs. Pearson, but you certainly weren't seeing it. You were thinking of something else.
Well, me, I saw it, and I liked it. Oh, 10:30. Well, I'm off to bed. Oh, by the way, I finished the window washing today, Miss Pearson.
Oh, good.
I'm glad they only got to be washed twice a year. It's a big job. It took a whole week. Well, good night.
Night. Good night, Charlie.
Mrs. Pearson, now I'm not one to pry, but why don't you tell me what's bothering you?
Bothering me?
Now, you know something is been bothering you since that Mr. Adams arrived. Now, when was it now? Well, this is Thursday, and he took the second floor front Friday it was. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll tell you something. You You haven't been the same since.
Oh, it's nothing, Miss Mapes. Nothing at all.
Now, you don't fool me. Something's worrying you. I know it is.
Oh, I might as well tell you. It's this.
Why? Well, it's a lipstick. Why should a lipstick upset you?
Well, it was in his pocket the day he arrived. His topcoat pocket. It fell out when I picked the coat up.
So?
It's the same color, mandarin scarlet. The Ripper uses to scroll those awful messages with.
Oh, and you think... Oh, you don't think he's the Ripper?
Oh, no. Of course not.
Well, then why the worry?
I don't know. It just bothers me a little, that's all.
And now, if you're all that worried, you could, or maybe you did, check on him?
Check on him.
Well, find out if he really does work for the City Sentinel and like that. You could call the paper.
Oh, I'm just being silly, that's all.
Of course you are. Mountains out of molehills. Well, I'm off for bed.
Oh, are you sleeping better since we exchanged rooms?
You've no idea. The traffic isn't anywhere near so loud. But what about you?
Oh, I don't mind it. I told you that months ago.
I know, and I thank you. Stop worrying now, and here's the lipstick. I certainly don't want it.
Oh, good night.
Good night, my dear. Sleep well.
I wonder. Hello? City Sentinel? I'd like to speak to Mr. Tony Adams, please. Oh, I see. I wonder if you could tell me, has he been with the Sentinel long? 6 weeks? Thank you very much. 6 weeks. It was just 6 weeks ago on a Thursday. Just 6 weeks ago today that the Ripper... Miss Mapes! Oh, my God! Charlie! Charlie, where are you? Oh, heavens help me, I'll have to go up myself. Miss Mapes! Miss Mapes! Oh, Charlie!
Good Lord, Miss Pearson, is that Miss Mapes screaming?
Yes.
Don't hear nothing now.
It came from a room. Oh, Charlie, I don't dare open the door.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll have to then. Yeah. Oh, no. Blood all over. Hey, Miss Mapes, look. No, don't look.
Oh, God.
It's the work of the Ripper. Oh, my Lord. I've never seen no one slashed up somebody.
The mirror. Charlie, look at the mirror.
Words scrawled in red.
Lipstick. Mandarin scarlet lipstick.
Stop me before I kill again.
They must stop him.
Let's get right down to the living room and phone the police.
Yes, yes. The front door at this house?
I'll go. Oh, Mr. Adams.
Hello, Charlie. Sorry I bothered you. Forgot my key. Hello, Nell. Oh, excuse me, Mrs. Pearson. I know. Why the stairs? Can't be the first roomer who forgot his key.
Mr. Adams. Oh, my Lord, Mr. Adams.
What is it?
Upstairs.
Upstairs what? Oh, never mind. I'll see for myself.
The police. Let's call them, Miss Pearson. Miss Pearson.
Did you... Charlie, did you...
Miss Pearson, what is it?
The look on his face when he saw me standing here. Did you see the look on his face?
Well, yeah. I couldn't figure why we were staring at him.
He couldn't figure out how I could be standing here.
Huh? What?
She's been killed by the Ripper. Miss Mapes killed by the Ripper, and he always kills widows.
Hey. Yeah, come to think of it, that don't make no sense.
It does if you remember that we changed rooms.
Miss Pearson. Miss Pearson, are you saying that the Ripper mistook Miss Mapes for you?
Oh, I'm the only widow in this house, Charlie.
Come on, let's call the cops. Yeah, operator, the police. Give me the police.
Put that phone down, Charlie.
Mr. Adams, what do you...
Give me the phone.
Charlie, no, the police.
Yeah. Hello, this is
Give
Charlie.
me that phone.
So, weaving their pattern of the unexpected, the fates bring together on this fearsome night an innocent spinster named Miss Mapes and the Ripper, who mistook her for Nell Pearson. I'll be back shortly with Act Two.
In Chicago, it's 58 degrees at Midway Airport. The WBBM news time is 10:51.
Mrs. Nell Pearson feels that she's about to faint as she sees her new boarder, Tony Adams, grab the telephone away from Charlie, the handyman, break the connection with police headquarters, and then begin to dial another number furiously. Charlie stands as if turned to stone. Nell grabs the back of a chair for support as...
Give me the city desk. Hank, Adams. The Ripper is struck again. Time, 11:15. Place, 129th Street. Rooming house owned by Mrs. Eleanor Pearson, widow. What? No, not her. One of her boarders. Miss Mapes. Well, he must have made a mistake. Hank, I know, but it isn't a widow this time. Now stop talking and take this, will you? In one of the ghastliest, bloodiest murders he's yet committed, the Ripper slashed his sixth victim. Sorry, I had to grab the phone out of your hand, Charlie, but a scoop's a scoop.
Yeah, sure.
Now, give me your stories. We'll start with you, Nell. Tell me, what happened? Oh, Nell, come now. Snap out of it. Stop staring at me and tell me what happened.
I heard her scream. She screamed and screamed and screamed.
Where were you?
Here, right here. She'd just gone up to bed.
What were you doing?
I had just telephoned someone. Then the screams began, and I ran upstairs, and Charlie was there on the landing, and we went into her room, and there she was. I've got to sit down.
Nell, what's the matter? Let me help you.
Don't touch me.
Okay. All right, Charlie, let's have it from you.
Oh, well, like Miss Pearson says, I heard Miss Mapes screaming and went running to see what was going on.
You must have moved fast. Your room was in the basement, isn't it?
Oh, well, I wasn't in my room. I was in Miss Pearson's room, just across Miss Mapes.
What were you doing in Mrs. Pearson's room?
Yes, what were you doing there?
Well, you remember when you changed rooms with Miss Mapes a couple of days ago?
Yes.
And there was that leak in the bathroom and I fixed it?
Yes.
Right. Just went up to check on it, is all.
I didn't know you changed rooms, Nell.
No, you didn't, did you?
That would account for...
Why don't you say it? The Ripper mistook Miss Mapes for me because he didn't know about the change of rooms.
You were lucky, Nell.
Very. This time.
Now, please, Mrs. Pearson, we're here to help you at police headquarters. And I understand why you're worried. It is possible the Ripper mistook Miss Mapes for you.
He did.
Yes, but now there seems to be something else on your mind. Something to do with, one of your boarders, you say?
His name is Tony Adams. He's a reporter on the City Sentinel. Well, he rented a room at my place just a week ago today. That was the day after the last murder.
Yes, I know.
Well,
but...
after he rented the room, he left to go to the newspaper, and I picked up his top coat to hang it in the closet, and this fell out.
A lipstick?
Yes. Mandarin scarlet.
The same color the Ripper
To
uses.
scrawl those horrible messages like last night on the wall of Miss Mapes' room.
Well, it seems to me you're letting your fears run away with you, building up a case in your mind.
Well, what about last night? He just happened to come home minutes after the murder, he says.
And you think...
I think he was lying. I think he killed Miss Mapes, left by the fire escape at the end of the second-floor corridor, and then pretended he'd just arrived home. Claimed he'd forgotten his key, so he'd have a witness to prove an alibi if he needed one.
Well, it's clever thinking, if that's so.
He's a clever man. Believe me, he is. And I'm afraid of him, Lieutenant. Terribly afraid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. The managing editor of the Sentinel's a good friend of mine. Let me just give him a ring and check on this Tony Adams. Mm-hmm.
What?
It's interesting. Your friend, Mr. Adams, was hired away from another paper, a metropolitan daily, because of the record of scoops he'd built up in a little more than a year.
Scoops? Oh, that means...
He always managed somehow to be on the scene of the crime first. An unusual record. A most unusual record.
You think... Oh, I know what you think. He committed the crime so he could get the scoop.
No, I didn't say that, Mrs. Pierce.
But that's what you're thinking.
Well, either he's a remarkable police reporter or
he's the Ripper. Lieutenant, I want protection. You've got to protect me. I want a policeman in my house night and day until that Ripper is caught.
Tell me, do you have a room available in your house?
Well, there's Miss Mapes' room. Why?
Well, look, don't hold me to this. What with one thing and another, we're short-handed right now, but if I sent one of my men to act like he was a boarder...
Oh, I'd make room for him. You can be sure of that.
Oh, Nell. Charlie said I'd find you down here in the laundry room.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Adams? What do you want?
One thing I want is for you to call me Tony.
One thing I want for you is to stop calling me Nell.
Oh, come on. What have you got against me?
Look, Mr. Adams, I've got a lot of work to do.
Well, not much sense asking you now.
What is it?
Why, well, I was going to ask if you'd like to go to the movies with me. I figured that'd be your answer.
What other answer would you expect? There was a murder in this house last night, a gruesome murder. Not only that, but the victim was a friend of mine. And you have the indecency to ask me to go to a movie with you?
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way, only... Look, I wish we could be friendlier, that's all. I'll level with you now. Excuse me, Mrs. Pearson. I've been thinking of settling down for some time now. So I've been looking around, you know, keeping my eyes open. And the minute they fell on you, Mrs. Pearson. Oh, no, damn it, Nell, listen to me.
Take your hands off me.
I don't call laying my hands on your arm exactly putting my hands on you.
Don't touch me. Don't even touch me.
What is it with you? Well, don't just stand there looking at me. What is it?
I just want to be left alone.
You just want to be left alone, or you just want to be left alone by me? Answer me.
By you.
Sorry. I won't trouble you again. Good night. What are you doing there?
Charlie.
I come down to tell you there's somebody upstairs looking for a room.
Man or woman?
Man.
Oh, well, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Adams.
How long were you standing there, Charlie?
Me? I just come down. Why?
Nothing, Charlie. Nothing.
How do you do? I'm Mrs. Pearson, the landlady.
My name is Bowen, Lawrence Bowen. I saw your sign out front. I wondered if you had a vacancy.
Yes, I do. A bed sitting room. Would you care to see it?
If it's not too much trouble.
No trouble at all, if you follow me. Did anyone recommend you here, Mr. Bowen?
Well, no. I couldn't say I was recommended, although...
Yes?
Well, you might say I heard what happened here last night, and well, that's why I'm here.
Well, here we are. This is the room.
So this is where it happened.
Yes.
What a shame to die like that. Maybe you could fill me in on some things. I got a lot from Lieutenant Goldman, but I'd like to hear your side of things.
Well, it's like this, Mr. Bowen. Is Mr. all right? Or should I call you Sergeant or something like that?
Oh, I better keep it Mister.
Oh, I understand. Did Lieutenant Goldman tell you about my finding the lipstick?
Yes. Where did you find it?
Well, I didn't find it, actually. It fell out of Mr. Adams' pocket. And, of course, when I saw it was mandarin scarlet, my suspicions were aroused right then and there.
Yeah, same shade of lipstick the Ripper uses to write his messages. You found the lipstick and that aroused your suspicions. In other words, you think he could be the Ripper.
I'm practically sure he is.
Which is his room?
Right there, that front room at the end of the corridor.
I'd like to have a look at that. Is he out of the house?
Oh, he may be. Though he was downstairs just a little while ago.
I wouldn't want him to find me in his room. Maybe you could check and find out.
Oh, of course, I'll do that.
Now, be careful. Don't say or do anything to make him suspect.
Oh, I won't. I won't. Oh, Charlie, where's Mr. Adams?
In the sitting room. He said he was going to write some letters.
Oh.
Was something wrong, Miss Pearson? You act upset.
No. I'm not upset. Not in the least. Thank you, Charlie. Oh, you've finished writing your letters.
Huh? Yes. How did you know I was writing letters?
I noticed you're holding some letters in your hand. I assumed you'd just written them. Naturally.
Naturally. And now I'm going out and naturally post them.
Say, what's, that's none of my business, I guess, but you two at each other's throats or something?
As you say, Charlie, none of your business. He's gone. He just went out to mail some letters.
How long will it take him?
Well, the nearest box is 2 blocks away, at least 5 minutes.
Have you got a key to his room?
Master key, yes. Have it right here.
Have to move fast, but go ahead. Open his door. Now, while I'm looking around, you better go to the head of the stairs and keep an eye out for him.
Yes.
Let's see. Suitcase. It's open. Good. That does it. Mrs. Pearson. Come here a moment.
Yes?
Have a look inside his suitcase.
What? Lipsticks. 3, 4, 6 of them.
And all of them mandarin scarlet.
Then I was right.
You were more than right. You were smack on target. And look here, under these shirts.
A knife. A long knife.
Butcher's knife, Mrs. Pearson. The knife, I'm sure, that was used on all 6 victims.
Lord be with us. What are you going to do?
For the moment, nothing.
Nothing? You're not going to arrest him?
Well, we could arrest him. I don't think we'd be able to hold him. Evidence like this, it's purely circumstantial. When we nail this bird, we want to nail him for good.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you ought to talk to Lieutenant Goldman and get his opinion.
I will. You can depend on that. And I'll do it, Mrs. Pearson, not you.
I don't understand.
If Adams is planning to murder you, he's keeping tabs on you. So don't try to contact the lieutenant in any way. Leave all that to me.
Oh, very well, I will. Oh, Mr. Bowen, I can't tell you how glad I am you're here. There's no question about it now. He is the Ripper. He was planning. He's
he won't. I'll see to that. And that's a promise.
Protected by Mr. Bowen, Nell Pearson feels safe. Well, safer than she did. But all too often, the fates are at work, weaving, ever weaving, the unexpected. I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
This is WBBM Chicago News Radio 78.
With Officer Bowen in the house to protect her, or perhaps I should say Mr. Bowen, Nell Pearson seemingly has nothing to fear. But note that I say seemingly. And having noticed it, let's move on, you and I, to the dining room in Mrs. Pearson's rooming house some days later. In fact, the evening of the following Thursday.
Delicious meal, Mrs. Pearson. As always.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
Sure is. Mr. Bowen.
Yes.
I hope you won't mind my asking. I haven't had the chance before, but do you mind telling me what you do for a living?
A salesman. Insurance.
Oh?
You sound surprised.
No, not really, except I'd have thought you were in something that keeps you outdoors a lot of the time. And your ruddy complexion.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Building trades, maybe. Foreman of some kind of outdoor crew. Policeman, even.
Oh, I'm sorry. It slipped.
No, insurance salesman, Mr. Adams. And that does get me out and around a lot, you know.
I suppose it does, yeah.
You're a reporter, a crime reporter, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Are you involved in this Ripper business?
Very much. Been involved in nothing else since I came here to join the Sentinel.
Do you or do the police have any idea what he's like, the kind of man he is? What makes him commit these terrible murders?
Well, we do and we don't. Well, what I mean, everything we know is conjecture, theory. No one has ever laid eyes on him, except his victims, of course, so we can't be sure that the picture we've built up is close to the truth or not. Still, it ought to be fairly accurate as far as it goes.
How far does it go? I mean, what is your picture of him?
Well, we estimate he's between 5'11" and 6 feet. We get that from the height of his victims and the downward direction of some of the knife thrusts.
Must we talk about the Ripper at the dinner table?
Oh, I'm sorry, but Mr. Bowen asked. And...
Well, there must be something else you can talk about. After all, there has been a murder in this house, and it was the Ripper, and this is Thursday, and the night that he commits these terrible crimes, and... Well, really.
Oh, Nell, I am sorry.
Me too, Mrs. Pearson. I'm awfully sorry.
It's all right. Just stop talking about it.
I certainly won't. It is Thursday night, and that means I've got to stake myself out at police headquarters.
Want to be right in the scene, is that it?
I'm always on the scene, Mr. Bowen. It's my job.
Well, here we are, Mr. Bowen. Come in.
Well, now, this is very nice. Very comfortable, Mrs. Pearson. I can't understand why Miss Mapes, poor woman, wanted to change rooms with you.
Well, the noise of the traffic bothered her.
Well, no traffic noise that I can hear.
Oh, that's because it's so late. It's nearly 11, but Miss Mapes usually went to bed quite early.
I see. Better lock the door, Mrs. Pearson.
Oh, but with you here to protect me...
Well, the fewer chances we take, the better.
Oh, well, I'll lock it.
Good. Now, all we have to do is just sit and wait. Till midnight, that is. After midnight, you'll be safe. At least till next Thursday.
You mind if I turn on the TV?
Oh, of course not. Why should I?
Well, you'll want to read your newspaper you brought, won't you?
No, not necessarily. I thought I might kill time while waiting, but... No, go ahead. Go ahead, turn it on.
We can catch the 11 o'clock news when it... Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Mrs. Pearson?
Yes.
This is Lieutenant Goldman, police headquarters.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to let you know you have nothing to worry about tonight.
Oh, I'm sure I don't. I feel perfectly safe.
You'll feel even safer when Officer Randolph gets there. Did you hear me, Mrs. Pearson?
Why, no. What did you say?
I've sent one of my men, Officer Randolph, over to your place. He ought to be with you in about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm very sorry I couldn't send anyone to stay with you through the week, but as I told you, we're short-handed. You understand? Mrs. Pearson?
Yes, I understand.
Good. Don't worry now. Goodbye.
Friend?
What?
Friend calling to see if you're okay?
Yes. Yes.
Well, you are. All your worries will be over by midnight.
Would you like something to drink?
Oh, no.
I'd like a cup of coffee myself. I'll just run down to the kitchen.
No. I can't take a chance of letting you out of my sight, Mrs. Pearson. Not now. It's 11 o'clock. Time when the Ripper does his killing. Even though he doesn't want to.
Doesn't want to?
No, he doesn't want to kill. He has to.
How do you know?
Why else would he scrawl those messages? Please stop me. Don't let me kill again. Always with the same kind of lipstick, Mandarin Scarlet. And why a lipstick? One of these. Why one of these?
You're...
Yes?
You're the Ripper?
I'm sorry to say that I am, Mrs. Pearson. I wish I were.
Look, you don't have to be.
I do. I can't help myself. I just can't. Right now, this minute, I know what I'm going to do. And I don't want to do it. But I know I won't be able to help myself. They must catch me, Mrs. Pearson. They must catch me. They must stop me.
They are going to catch you tonight. There's a police officer on his way here now. He'll be at the front door any minute.
But you won't be able to admit him.
Someone will. Charlie will.
I don't see how.
What do you mean you don't see how? He'll ring the front doorbell and keep ringing until someone answers.
No one will hear the doorbell, Mrs. Pearson. I disconnected it.
Newspaper you brought.
Not to read. To carry this.
The knife. The butcher knife. Oh, heaven help me. Heaven help me.
Goldman. Yes, send him in. Come in, Adams.
Got a message you wanted to see me when I came in.
Yeah. Coffee?
Never turn it down.
I just wanted to let you know I assigned a man to stay with Mrs. Pearson between 11 and midnight and another hour or so after that, just to be sure.
Thanks a heap, Lieutenant. I appreciate that.
I think you're more worried about her than she was about herself.
Well, to tell you the truth, I'd have stayed with her myself if I didn't have to cover headquarters. And if she'd have let me.
Let you?
For some reason or other, she won't have anything to do with me. Me, I go for her. She turns me on, you know what I mean? But I can't get to first base with her.
You ready for a shock?
What?
I didn't tell you this before because I didn't get the chance. Too damn busy with one thing and another, including putting a check on you.
I don't get you.
I had you checked out up and down and sideways because, well, you're not going to believe this. Mrs. Pearson was convinced you were the Ripper.
Nell Pearson thought I...
Excuse me. Goldman. No one answers. Well, that doesn't make any sense. She's there. I talked with her on the phone 10 minutes ago. Tell him to try again. And tell him to make sure he's got the right house. These rookies.
What?
The guy I sent over to stay with Mrs. Pearson says nobody answers the doorbell. Not out of order, is it?
Oh, well, I know I've got a key.
Maybe he went to the wrong house.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, you don't know what you're saying. I never tricked you.
Oh, yes, you did. You say you changed rooms with that Miss Mace because she wanted to. But what you were doing was tricking me, that's what. You're all alike, you widows. Fire, fire, fire!
Please believe me.
Believe you? Believe a widow? Never again, never again. I believed one. I married her, but never again. You know what the Chinese say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I learned that from her. She was nuts about everything Chinese. Pagodas all over the house. Chinese screens. Parading around. She was always parading around with dresses slit up to here. Up to here. Even her lipstick. This Mandarin scarlet.
Listen to me.
But I paid her back for what she did to me. I paid her back that night. That Thursday night when I came home unexpectedly and found her. Her and him. He ran. He got away, but she didn't. Oh, she didn't. I got a knife from the kitchen, a butcher's knife, and I came into the bedroom and I slashed and stabbed and stabbed. And I ripped and I tore. I killed her once, and then again, and then again, and again. Kill her as I'm going to kill you now.
Please, oh, please.
What do you want first, huh? A slash across the face, a slash across your beautiful lying face. It'll do you no good to run. They all tried that and they failed.
No! Help me! Please help me!
No one can help you now.
Stand back, Adam.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Nell, are you all right?
Thank God you're here. Thank God. But how?
The cop Lieutenant Goldman sent over said no one answered the doorbell. Seemed odd to me, so I decided to come over and check. Lieutenant Goldman came too.
Oh, Tony.
Take it easy now. Here. Sit down. That's it.
Oh, can you ever forgive me? I misjudged you so terribly, so terribly.
That's for sure. What about him, Lieutenant?
He's gone. I hated to kill him, but I had no choice.
And not the way he came at you, swinging that butcher knife.
Hey, what are you doing?
Calling the Sentinel. What else? I've got another scoop.
If you don't mind.
Hey, what?
Operator, give me police headquarters.
Oh, that's gratitude. I lead you to the Ripper, and you swindle me out of my scoop.
You'll get your scoop. And the way Mrs. Pearson is looking at you, I'll say you get another. Hello, this is Goldman. Give me homicide.
Will I know?
What?
Chief.
Tony?
This is Lieutenant
You
Goldman.
know I've been crazy about you since I laid eyes on you.
Yeah.
You do know that.
Yes.
No, he's dead.
Yes, I guess I do.
Had to kill him.
Well, that movie I asked you to go to, they've held it over another week.
Okay.
Will you go with me some night?
I'd love to. Anytime. Any night. But Thursday.
Weaving and spinning, the fates create the warp and woof of our lives. And always through the pattern runs the scarlet thread of the unexpected. Sometimes for good, sometimes for evil. And make no mistake, as the unexpected awaited Nell Pearson, so it awaits you. I'm sure you'll want to know that Nell and Tony are married now. Tony's on his way to becoming managing editor of the Sentinel. And Nell on her way to becoming a mother. And so the fates weave a happy ending. For once. Our cast included Kim Hunter, Michael Wager, Robert Dryden, Mary Jane Higby, and Joe Julian. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal, new sugar-free diet 7-Up, and Contact, the 12-hour allergy capsule. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
CBS News in 1 minute.
Yourself a no-wax floor. This special 88-cent price is available for a limited time only. Big selection of colors and patterns while they last. So come in now to these participating Armstrong dealers. Hollywood Linoleum, 3355 Main Street in Skokie. Hart Wallpaper and Paint at 3236 West 26th Street in Chicago, and all Goblat stores. Call 786-2408 for the location nearest you. 31 degrees, WBBM News Time, 10:31.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. We're about to hear a story involving a private eye of yesteryear. He's not to be confused with the private investigator we know today, whose work depends so much on all the electronic gadgets of our technological age. No, this man lived in simpler times, back in the post-war 40s. He was really a man of the streets, and in Raymond Chandler's words, down these mean streets a man must go who is not himself mean, who is neither tarnished nor afraid. Nevertheless, sometimes he gets into trouble along the way.
Take his gun, Dickie, under the left shoulder, and get his wallet while you're at it.
Sure. Watch your hands, pal. I get nervous.
Such a big gun and such a little guy.
And what is your name, my friend?
Coleridge.
Ah, yes. Abner Coleridge, private investigator.
Private eye, huh? I thought he was a cop.
And what are you investigating tonight, my friend?
That's my problem.
Are you acquainted with the young woman in green?
That's your problem. To find out.
Our mystery drama, entitled Blood, Thunder, and a Woman in Green. It was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Fletcher Markle and stars Mandel Kramer. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and True Value Hardware Stores. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Once upon a time, there was a happy little family.
Everybody happy?
Happy as a lark. Happy as a clam.
Indeed, they were the happiest little family you would ever care to meet, until it came time to get in their car.
Look, just get in the car.
I don't want to go. Do I have to?
This is work.
What made them unhappy was that they could never seem to find a car that was right for them. It was either too big and expensive...
Maybe we could skip the house payment this month.
...or too small and uncomfortable.
It's small in here.
Ma, your elbow's in my eye.
Sorry, honey.
Then one day, Father happily announced he had found a car that was just right for them, a Buick Century Custom. Being a midsize, it was neither too big nor too small for them. And being a Buick, it had a V6 engine, lots of room and comfort, and the famous Buick ride. And that pleased them to no end.
I'm pleased as punch.
I'm tickled pink.
I have to go to the bathroom.
All of which proves one thing. Maybe money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a Buick Century Custom, which for a lot of people is pretty much the same thing.
When you save at Northwest Federal, they have lots of ways to thank you. There's a Fun with Plants program from plant specialist Ginny Beatty, where you get lots of free plant idea pages. There's a special club that encourages kids to save, and a club for senior savers as well. And if you save $250 or more at any Northwest Federal Savings Center, now through April the 18th, you can choose a gift free or for a special low price. Gifts to let you know that spring is on the way, like a True Temper lawn rake, a Burgess fluidic sprinkler to help shape up your lawn, a Structo barbecue grill for cookouts, or an Alumilite folding table for all those picnics you're planning. They have lots of other gifts and many more ways to thank you. And when you visit your nearby Northwest Federal Savings Center, pick up a free thanks button in one of many different languages. It's just another thanks you can take with you.
It's Northwest Federal Savings Time, 63 hours a week.
We're going to meet a private eye in the course of a night's work that happened over 30 years ago. Around that time, Raymond Chandler, speaking of the fictional private eye, observed, "He's a lonely man, and his pride is that you will treat him as a proud man, or be very sorry you ever saw him. He talks with rude wit, a lively sense of the grotesque, and a contempt for pettiness." Well, here comes Abner Coleridge. He's no Philip Marlowe, believe me.
just a minor brother in that fraternity of tough guys back in the Marlowe era. A private eye of long ago who's certainly going to need his sense of the grotesque before his story is done.
It was one of those nights. You're not doing anything, and you don't expect to be doing anything, and then all of a sudden, you're in a barrel of monkeys. Trouble. This night, with the city trembling under a thunderstorm, the trouble was murder. I heard about it around 9:30. And by 9:35, I was involved in it. It was like this. At 9:30, I was flopped in my room, and the phone shouted at me. Yeah, hello?
Goldbridge?
Well, what if it is? Who's this?
Abner, it's Bo Peep.
Who?
Peeper Monday, Abner. Bo Peep.
Oh, hello, Bo. I'm sorry, I was half asleep, just settling my dinner. How's the eye of the news?
Abner, listen. 15 minutes ago, I got the picture of the year. I just got in. The picture of the year. 2 years, 5. A gunfight, a murder, and blood like a busted hydrant with dancing girls for background. 12 dancing girls. Count them, 12. I was out on a story for Scoop.
Yeah, and you just happened to be there at the time. You just happened to have your camera with you.
Oh, you know me, Abner. I always know where to be.
Sure, Bo, sure. I read the dust jacket of your book.
All right. But it's the picture of the year, I tell you, and the story.
Of the decade, Bo. The century. What are you calling me for?
Well, I'm coming to that, Abner.
Call the papers.
Listen,
Call your publishers. Maybe they can get it engraved in time for the third printing.
Abner, please.
Mail me a print, Bo. I'm sleepy.
Abner, listen. I want you. I want you to come right over. I got a job for you.
What's the matter? Can't you get a messenger boy?
Abner, cut it out. We're wasting time.
What kind of job?
Bodyguard, Abner. And besides...
Bodyguard? Now, let's get this clear, Bo. It's a lousy, rotten, wet night. And I have a failing reputation to maintain as a private investigator. Now, if you're in deep, call a cop. Bodyguard.
Abner, please let me finish. Bodyguard for me, investigate for them. They're good for a fat fee, Abner.
Who?
Scoop. The picture tabloid. I told you. I was out on a story for them when I saw the gunfight. I've got a murder on film right here in my hand. It's the picture of the year, believe me.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I gotta develop, Abner. I got no time to argue.
You haven't.
You just come on over to my place. You know where it is, Lucerne Apartments.
I know where it is, Bo, and I'm not interested.
You will be. Oh, listen, there's somebody at the door. It's probably Miriam. Oh, wait till you meet this Miriam Taylor, Abner. She's green as grass, but she's got a lot of guts. So grab a cab and come on over.
No. Capital N, capital O.
Same old Abner. I gotta get my door. I'll see you. At
9:35, I was down on the street with my gun packed and my tie tied, hailing a cab.
Where to, buddy?
I got in and told him and sat back, listening to the storm and looking out at the flood of rain on the streets. Bo Peep was the professional label of a crazy little news photographer named Boris Piepermendy, whom I'd seen and known around. Our paths had crossed now and then, and we had a drinking acquaintance. Bo's life was rooted in his camera and press card. A collection of Bo's best work called Tabloid Town had just been published and was nudging its way toward the bestseller lists, spreading his fame far beyond the city limits. He was a nice little guy with an uncanny nose for news and a sharp way of impressing people with everything he did. I sat in the cab throbbing with questions. Who had been murdered in the gunfight? And where could it have happened with a background of a dozen dancing girls? And why did Bo need a bodyguard? And since when did a picture paper like Scoop want to employ a private eye? And what was the matter with me that I always made a pretense of turning down jobs that screamed interest from the first hint?
There you are, buddy.
I paid him and got out, sloshed across the sidewalk to the door of the Lucerne Apartments. It wouldn't be long before I got some answers. 219. It was an old brownstone block, smelling of age and onions and rotting linoleum. But Bo had never been able to permit his living habits to keep up with his income. He stayed as close as he could to police headquarters, which was just around the corner. The elevator was up on another floor, and I only wanted the second, so I used the stairs. Little winds were rattling around the stairwell and through the high, hollow halls. One minute the storm seemed vague and remote, and the next minute like another planet coming down through the roof. 219 was a few doors down the hall to the left from the top of the stairs. There were 3 naked bulbs offering a hard white light at intervals along the hall, and the second one was over Bo's door. The door was slightly ajar, and from under it came a narrow, curling snake of red, sparkling in the strong light. Blood. Blood has a way of letting you know that your first guess wasn't wrong. I kicked the door open. Bo was lying half on his side and half on his back on the floor, feet toward me, and the door just grazed his foot on its way in. There was an injured speed graphic with a flashbulb attachment beside his outstretched left arm. His right arm was clutching at a red pulp of stomach where somebody had done terrible things with a knife. His body was warm, but he wasn't alive. I stepped back and looked up and down the hall. No one. I re-entered the room and closed the door behind me. I thought of Bo saying that he wanted a bodyguard, that there was no time to argue, that he had to develop, and that there was somebody at the door. It was a big room with a double bed and a side table with a telephone on it, a chest of drawers, an armchair, another smaller chair, a bookcase piled with magazines and newspapers, and a table loaded with cartons of flashbulbs and camera paraphernalia. The walls were covered with Bo's pictures, glossy prints and clippings, and a huge enlargement of Bo holding his speed graphic that was obviously a self-portrait taken in a mirror. There was an alcove kitchen in one corner and a bathroom between it and another alcove heavily curtained. Bo's darkroom. I gotta develop, Bo had said. I crossed the room and switched out the overhead light. Stepping across the body, I felt my way around the bed to the alcove curtain. I pulled it back, and then another curtain behind it. And a soft glow from a colored light revealed shelves of bottles and boxes of paper, enlarging and printing equipment, and a row of white trays on a table. The trays were empty. Then I heard a door closing in the front room. There was a tall man in a tuxedo standing at the door, smiling at me through a small beard. And there was a gray-faced kid in a brown suit standing behind him, pointing a .38 at me.
Good evening, my friend.
Hello.
This is a rather sordid scene of crime and passion, is it not? Your hands up very high, please. Watch him, Dickie.
I'm watching.
Just what the devil is this?
A good question. He has a gun, Dickie, under his left shoulder. Get it.
Sure.
And his wallet while you're at it.
Uh-huh. Watch your hands, pal. I get nervous.
Such a big gun and such a small guy. I'm not surprised.
Now listen, you...
Dickie, restrain yourself. Now then, my friend, let us introduce ourselves. My name is William Shakespeare. What's yours?
Sherlock Holmes. And that's little Bo Peep on the floor behind you. What'll we call this fumbling gunzel of yours? Huckleberry Finn?
Very funny. You want any of his stuff, boss?
I'll take the wallet, Dickie. Just put his gun on the table. You look rather foolish with one in each hand. As I was saying, my friend, the name is Shakespeare for business purposes, just as our deceased companion called himself Bo Peep for his business purposes. What concerns me now is your name.
Coleridge, for almost all purposes. My card's in the first flap of the wallet there. No need to mess up the rest of it.
Ah, yes. Abner Coleridge, private investigator.
Private eye, huh? I thought he was a cop.
And what are you investigating tonight, my friend? The distressing demise of Mr. Bo Peep.
I wasn't. I am now.
Oh, this is taking time, boss. Let me...
Make use of the time, then, Dickie. What did we come here for? Give me your gun. I'll watch Mr. Abner Coleridge. You collect the film.
Sure.
Get everything in sight here and everything in the dark room. If it's been developed, cover the tray and we'll take it with us. It would be amusing to see Mr. Peep's work.
The trays are empty.
Check that, Dickie.
Yeah, I'll check everything, boss.
You are somewhat familiar with the circumstances, I gather, Mr. Coleridge.
Somewhat.
Are you acquainted with the young woman in green?
Well, I might be. It depends. There are a lot of women in green around. It's the season for green.
This young lady is unmistakably worthy of that description. Green hat, green dress, green shoes and accessories, and red hair. Lovely red hair. It may seem a peculiar combination, but I assure you it's exceedingly becoming in her case. Do you know her?
Maybe.
Nothing in the dark room.
Very well. Collect all the other loose film in here.
Gotcha.
Are you, investigating alone, Mr. Coleridge?
I might be. It depends.
You're being rather difficult.
So are you. May I drop my hands?
Certainly not.
I'm ready, boss. Let's blow.
Have you got everything this time, Dickie?
Yeah, that works. It's all on the table here. You want to answer that?
No. Yes. Why not? Quiet, both of you.
Hello? Hello? Is that you, Bo? Is this Mr. Peeper Mender's apartment? Hello?
Wrong number. I think that was our young woman.
Oh, let's get out of here, boss. The cops are liable.
Look out, Dickie is diving for his gun. Sap him, Dickie, sap him. Dad!
Well, as Raymond Chandler said, some private eyes have no more personality than a blackjack. But when the latter hits the head of the former, it's not really a question of personality, is it? It's simply a question of survival. And we'll find out how Abner Coleridge survives when I return with Act Two very shortly.
Hey there, it's spring. It's time to put on a happy yard. And the best way to do that is with big savings on lawn and garden tools from True Temper.
Swing into spring and summer, put on a happy yard. True Temper's got your number. It's really not that hard.
When you're ready to spread that grass seed or fertilize your lawn, choose the True Temper Broadcast Spreader. It has a wide variety of accurate settings for as little as 4 ounces of seed or as much as 40 pounds of fertilizer. The Broadcast Spreader does the work in 1/4 the time. This and other True Temper tools are on sale now.
We'll save you lots of money. Save on the very best. Just so it's bright and sunny, True Temper does the rest. And here's to a great spring, the True Temper way. Put on a happy yard.
See your True Temper dealer soon for special spring savings.
I came to Midas to get Midasized and got the shock of my life. The right shock for my car, absolutely free.
It's our special offer, good at Midas dealers until April 30th. When you buy 3 of our LifeGuard or SuperGuard or SpringGuard shocks, we give you the 4th shock absolutely free. They'll be the right shocks for the way you drive, and they'll be guaranteed as long as you own your car. So once you Midasize, you'll never have to buy shocks for that car again. If you think you need new shocks, now's the time to Midasize and get the shock of your life. 4 Midas shocks for the price of 3. Offer good until April 30th at participating dealers. Come to Midas for a free inspection.
The next time you feel that sway, don't compromise. Midasize.
Wherever you live or work in the greater Chicago area, you're just a few minutes away from one of the 42 conveniently located Midas shops. When your car, foreign or domestic, needs servicing, check the white pages for the shop nearest you. 31 degrees, it's 1050.
Abner Coleridge, a private eye at work in the post-war 40s, has answered a phone call for help from a photographer friend whose professional name is Bo Peep. Bo claims to have just taken a most unusual photograph. So unusual that he wants Abner to act as his bodyguard while he develops it. But by the time Abner gets to Bo Peep's apartment, his friend is dead, murdered. And there is no trace of the photograph in Bo Peep's darkroom. 2 rather sinister strangers arrive while Abner is searching the apartment. While attempting to outwit them, Abner is put out of commission by a well-placed blow from a blackjack.
Whatever it was the kid hit me with, he hit hard. And the floor came up to meet me. I saw a few thousand women in green with red hair, and they all looked like those distorting mirrors at amusement parks and penny arcades. I saw William Shakespeare, the old and the new. The only difference was that the new one was wearing a tuxedo. I saw stars, and I felt my nerves stretching like licorice. Smelled a sick, sweet smell and tasted the salt of sweat. Then I saw 12 dancing girls. Count them, 12. And they were on a billboard. And I saw them from the back seat of a car that was turning into an alley, and I heard a familiar voice.
That Bo Peep must have been standing right about here when he got the picture.
I was positive that I was conscious for a minute. Then I blacked out again. When I came around to full consciousness, I was roped tightly to a chair in a large, expensively furnished office. I could see several vague shapes in front of me talking indistinctly. I could hear music somewhere nearby, sounding like a dance band. My coat and shirt were wet and cold against my skin, and the back of my head felt like overtime in a steel mill. And somebody threw a glass of water in my face, and I knew why I was wet.
Hey, he's coming out of it, I think.
It's about time. Must have knocked him plenty, Dickie.
Once, Sugar. Once I knocked him. I do it right.
All right, let me talk to him, Sugar. There, my friend. Are you with us again? Are you back with us again, my friend?
Nah, he's still out.
He's faking. I'll tell him we don't buy it.
Leave him alone, Dickie. You want him to pass out again?
Go sit down, kid. You're in the way. Boss wants to talk to the guy.
Okay, Sugar, okay. I was only trying...
Where's Carl, Dickie?
He's still out front, I guess, looking for that dame in the green dress.
Well, find him. Tell him to get the first aid kit. It's probably in the men's room.
Everybody's right with me.
Quickly.
Oh, yeah, sure, boss. Sure. You want me to bring Carl and the kid?
Yes.
I let my head sag forward, chin on my chest, so I could open my eyes just enough to look the place over without either Shakespeare or the other flunky seeing what I was doing. The office had a big desk and some more chairs like the one I was tied to. A portable bar, no windows, no closets, and only one door. The one going out to where the music was. I closed my eyes all the way when I saw Shakespeare walking toward my chair. I could feel him staring down at me, probably wondering whether I was faking or not. I tried to appear unconscious for his benefit and tried to stay fully conscious for mine.
It's been quite a night for us all, Sugar. First Sammy, then Mr. Bo Peep. Now this one. What did you do with poor old Sammy, by the way?
Just what you told us. We loaded Sam into the trunk of his car and drove it to the other side of town. Left it in the parking lot. What are your plans for this one?
I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure where he fits in between the photographer and that young woman in green. What is her name, by the way?
Taylor, I think.
Yes, I have the impression this one is involved with her somehow, as well as with Mr. Bo Peep.
Well, you know what they say about dead men, boss.
Right so, yes. And the only thing that worries me is how many tales this one may have told before Dickie and I ran into him tonight.
We could always run over him, too, don't forget.
You are not listening to me, Sugar. I want to keep him alive and well for the time being.
Yeah, you hear that? I don't know how well he is, but it's a cinch he's still alive.
Yes, but first we need that first aid kit. He's bleeding heavily back here where Dickie knocked him, as you put it, with his blackjack.
So, what's the big deal?
The big deal, Sugar, is that I'm worried about who this man might have talked to about that photograph. It's very clear he knows something about it. He was in Bo Peep's dark room when Dickie and I first bumped into him, and he knew the developing trays were empty.
You think maybe he's got the film?
No, we searched him before we brought him over here.
Think maybe he knows where it is? Is that what you mean?
That is exactly what I mean.
Then we need to talk to him some more, don't we, boss?
I tried to look as limp as a bag of dirty laundry while Shakespeare was getting his drink. I tried to figure out how to stay alive by asking myself some of my own questions. Had I really seen the 12 dancing girls on the billboard from the back seat of the car that brought me to this place? And had I really heard Dickie's voice talking about where Bo Peep was standing when he got his picture? Or had I been delirious from the pain in my head? And most of all, where was I? Did the music I could hear have any connection with the dancing girls in Bo Peep's photograph?
Here we are, boss. Carl and the kid.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Chief. Now I see why you wanted the kit. You want me to...
Just give it to me, Carl. Put it on the desk here.
Sure. How's he doing?
Guy's coming out of his slush of iodine on his scalp should bring him around.
Did you find her, Carl? Miss what's her name?
Tail up, boss.
Oh, the dame in green. No. She left in a cab about half an hour ago.
But we must find her. Don't you understand? She may know about the picture.
Now, take it easy, Chief. She left word she'd be back. And I've told everybody out front to send her here to the office as soon as she turns up. Anyway, how could she know anything about the picture? She was in here talking to me at the time.
She might have heard the shots.
Don't forget the storm, boss.
Right. If anybody heard the shots over all that thunder, we'd have had a visit from the cops long before now.
You know, you're quite right, Carl. Yes, of course. It's been rather a disturbing evening. Now then, what about the film we brought back from Bo Peep's place?
Marty's taking care of that. It's being developed by a friend of his, a guy we can trust. Marty's with him right now, and he'll call us on the private line after he's checked everything out.
Good. Well, now let's get back to our friend here. Where's the iodine?
Oh, right here, boss. You want me to slap some on?
Yes, go ahead, Sugar. Pale, isn't he?
He'll be all right.
Oh, you sure knocked him, Dickie. Look at this mess.
Once, Sugar, once, honest.
Here goes.
Water, Dickie?
Sure, ready and waiting.
Hey, that's more like it. He's coming around.
Let me try something. You're going to be all right, Mr. Colbridge. The pain will go away and you'll be feeling better very soon. But right now we need some information. You know Mr. Bo Peep, don't you?
Yeah, Bo's dead.
Yes, he's dead. We all know that. Now, we're all friends here. The point is, did he talk to you before he died? Did he talk to you on the telephone?
Telephone?
Yes, telephone. Did he talk to you? Did he tell you about the photograph?
The photograph?
Yes, exactly. A photograph. A picture. I think he must have been quite pleased with it. Did he tell you anything about that picture? Anything at all?
Anything? About what?
I think he's faking.
Shut up. Let the boss do the talking.
Tell us what you know, Mr. Colbridge. It's extremely important to me.
I know you.
Of course you know me, and I know you. But what about that photograph? Did Bo Peep tell you anything about it? A picture of a shooting, wasn't it? A killing?
You sapped me.
Did you say Sammy?
Hey, how do you know about Sam?
Quiet, all of you, very quiet. Now, what about Sammy, Mr. Colbridge? What about him?
Died.
Did you say Sammy died?
Died. You got me tied up here.
Oh, damn, it was just a coincidence. He couldn't have known about Sammy.
I know you. You zapped me. What'd you zap me for? What's this all about, Shakespeare? What am I doing here?
Bloody fool.
You said it, Chief. He's bloody in more ways than one.
Now listen to me, Shakespeare.
Put the gag on him, Sugar.
Sure, boss. Give me that napkin on the tray there, Dickie.
Is it big enough?
That'll do.
You're gonna be sorry, Shakespeare.
I'll take care of him for a while. It's nice and tight.
I'm sorry we took the time to bring him here. He's more trouble than he's worth.
Why did you bring him, Chief?
Because I wasn't certain enough of what he knows or doesn't know to either leave him there or kill him.
Don't you think one corpse is enough? That's what started all this, remember?
Unfortunately, Carl, there are now 2 corpses.
2? You mean...
I mean the photographer, of course. Dickie had to dispose of him the first time he went off to the film. We'd followed him to his apartment in my car. Dickie went up alone and knocked at his door, right, Dickie?
Oh, just following orders, boss.
He could hear Mr. Peep inside talking on the phone to someone named Abner, who later turned out to be our friend over there. But he kept right on knocking at the door. Mr. Peep finally answered it, but he put up a fight. Dickie had to use his knife on him. Right, Dickie?
Well, I didn't have no choice, boss. I told you that.
Regrettably, however, Dickie complicated things even further by only taking the film that was in Mr. Peep's camera. Later, when we discovered it hadn't even been exposed, I had to go back to the apartment with him. That's when we ran into our friend, Mr. Abner Colbridge, in person.
If you ask me, Chief, I'd say you're talking too much in front of our friend over there.
Yes, I'm always talking too much. Well, I think Mr. Colbridge will have to go anyway.
Well, now listen, Chief, this isn't the old days. Don't get too carried away.
Oh, hi, Mr. Shakespeare. Were you looking for me?
Yes, indeed I was, Miss...
Taylor. Miriam Taylor.
Yes, do come in, Miss Taylor.
Thanks.
Miriam Taylor was wearing a floppy green hat, a green dress, green shoes and accessories, and a lot of long red hair. She was very pretty. She frowned a little when she saw the bound and battered mess that was me, but she didn't say anything. Just sat down while one of the flunkies lit a cigarette for her. Shakespeare was watching her intently. Cat and mouse. I wished I had learned how to pray.
So far, we've had our share of blood and more than a little thunder. And now, at last, we've met the woman in green. Poor Abner Colbridge, our frustrated hero, is fit to be tied. And yet, being tied as well as gagged, he's not really fit to cope with the arrival of our heroine. There's always the possibility, of course, that Miss Taylor may not be a heroine at all. We'll find out more about that when I return with Act 3, right after this.
This spring, True Value hardware stores will go to great lengths to help make your lawn and garden work easier. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you they offer True Test outdoor extension cords in 30, 60, and 100-foot lengths to help get electrical power from the house to the mower, to the trimmer, or barbecue out in the backyard. These heavy-duty 3-wire cords stay strong and flexible in all weather. Can't be damaged by most chemicals, oil, or grease. The bright orange vinyl cover is easy to see, so you're less likely to trip over it. And best of all, True Test extension cords from True Value hardware stores provide the extra reach you need to cut the grass, to trim the hedges, or operate the barbecue anywhere in the yard, not just next to the house. Get True Test heavy-duty outdoor extension cords in 30, 60, and 100-foot lengths, priced from as low as $3.99 at participating True Value hardware stores. Remember True Value, more than just a name, that's their way of doing business. And tell them that Pat Summerall sent you.
Hey, cats and kittens, Grease, the longest-running play on the Great Wide Way, proudly presents 6 people who've seen Grease 47 times. Here they are, coming at you, the Cavaliers.
That's Cavaliers, Jake. This is Vinny Adesano. I love Grease because it's cool, suave, and beautiful. Like me, you know? Yeah, back in the 50s, we really had it made. Burning rubber, cruising for chicks, backseat Bonnie Sawicki.
She married a guy. Can we do the song now, Vinny?
Hey, yeah? Speaking for the Cavaliers, I would like to say, hey, if you ain't seen Grease at least once, your mother wears army shoes. We Cavaliers want to dedicate a song to our favorite show, Grease.
Ooh, we and Grease go together like bop, 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 dip, dip, dip. Oh, we love it forever like bop, shoo, wop, rabba, lamma, ding, dong. Grease, we love it. That's the way it should be.
That was the Cavaliers, and this one's going out to Steve and Cindy at the Aerodrome in Oceanside.
Grease is back 3 weeks only now through the 24th at the Opera House. Tickets at Box Office and Ticketron. Call 372-4814. WBBM Chicago News Radio 78, 32 degrees. It's 11:05.
30 years ago, when World War II was over, we thought we were living in the best of times. But crime is always with us, in good times or bad. And even though we didn't have sophisticated bugging devices to invade our privacy back in the 40s, we still lived in the shadow of blackmail and the black market, and there was plenty of work for a private eye. Which brings us around to Abner Colbridge, our hero with a headache from a blackjack.
So there I was, tied to a chair with a gag in my mouth, unable to do anything but wait and see what was going to fall into place between Shakespeare and his 3 flunkies and the young woman in green. Miss Miriam Taylor was just sitting there ignoring me, calmly smoking a cigarette and making small talk, when her name fell into place in my head from Bo Peep's phone call earlier that night.
Besides, there's somebody at the door. It's probably Miriam. Oh, wait till you meet this Miriam Taylor, Abner. She's green as grass, but she's got a lot of guts.
I was just wondering whether it had been Miriam Taylor or Dickie at Bo Peep's door when the small talk in the office was interrupted by the telephone.
I'll get it, Chief. Hello. Yeah, Marty, this is Carl. What's the word? Nothing else, huh? Oh, yeah, he's right here, Marty. I'll tell him myself. I'll see you later.
Well, don't stand there just shaking your head at me, Carl. Tell me what he said.
Somebody's wedding, 2 conventions, and a lot of pin-up girls. Nothing else, Chief.
Nothing at all?
Nope. That was it.
Dickie.
Yeah, boss?
Step outside on the balcony, please, and stay by the door. We don't want to be disturbed.
Gotcha.
No more visitors, Dickie. Is that quite clear?
I hear you, boss.
Now then, Miss Taylor, how are you getting along? You and your photographer.
Oh, we've got the makings of a good story, Mr. Shakespeare, but I just can't figure where Bo Peep's got to. Haven't seen him for hours.
Is that so? Have you been looking for him?
Oh, sure. I called him at our office, and I called his apartment, and he wasn't there.
What do you suppose has happened to him?
I just don't know. He must have gone out on another job. We only hire him by the hour for an assignment like this, you know, and there wasn't any definite time set, except for the big show at midnight, and it's almost midnight now, isn't it?
Quite so. But you were out for a while, too, weren't you, Miss Taylor?
Well, yes, I was. I had another assignment myself. They keep us busy these days.
So it would seem. Did you know that we had a little trouble here tonight, Miss Taylor?
Trouble? No, I didn't.
Yes. We've been trying to locate a picture, a very valuable photograph. And this gentleman trussed up in the chair here has given us quite a spot of bother in connection with it.
I didn't notice him, of course.
Do you know who he is?
Why, no, I've never seen him before.
But surely his presence must have aroused your curiosity when you came in a few minutes ago.
Yes, I'll admit I was a little puzzled. I mean, he looks so miserable. But I don't want to ask any questions.
Oh, come now, Miss Taylor. It's part of your business to ask questions. I'm surprised at you.
Well, after all, Mr. Shakespeare, there's a difference between public matters and private matters.
I think it would be a most excellent idea if you did question this gentleman, Miss Taylor. Have a little chat with him. Interview him, shall we say?
Hey, the storm's going to break in about 5 minutes, boss. You want to come out and take a look at things?
Yes, indeed, Dickie. We'll be right there.
Gotcha.
Now, look, Chief. You're not going to leave these 2 here alone, are you? That's carrying all this a little too far.
Never mind, Carl. Take off his gag, Sugar.
Yeah, but listen, boss, you can't
Don't tell me what I can't just, Sugar. I know exactly what I'm doing. Take it off.
Okay.
Now, gentlemen, we are going to leave Miss Taylor and Mr. Coleridge to themselves for a nice little chat.
Are you out of your head, Chief?
That's his name, Miss Taylor. Abner Coleridge. Carl, Sugar, come along.
If you don't watch out, you're going to blow this whole thing wide.
I said never mind, Carl. Hurry along, Sugar.
I don't get it, boss, but whatever you say.
That's right, Sugar. Call us if you need us, Miss Taylor. We'll be right out here on the balcony.
But please, Mr. Shakespeare, I don't understand.
Just call us.
I don't understand either. But don't say anything. It's some kind of trick. They must be listening.
I thought you must be Abner Coleridge when I first...
Shh. Don't say anything. They must have a way of listening, or Shakespeare would never have left us alone here together. He's after a photograph, and he's desperate. He's trying every angle he can think of.
That's a heavy door. Who can eavesdrop?
It's also the only way out of here.
I know that. But this place is almost soundproof.
Is there a dictaphone or any kind of intercom over there on the desk?
No. No, nothing at all like that. Just a couple of telephones.
Either one of them off the hook?
Nope. There's just no way they can hear us. Anyway, I'll whisper.
It's got to be a trick of some sort. Now be careful. This is life and death stuff along about now.
I know it's life and death. I've seen a sample of the death. I made a terrible mess of explaining myself a minute ago on purpose. I wanted to get involved. I came back here with that in mind.
What's this all about? Where are we? And who are these people? And what was the picture Bo Peep got that caused all this? Who was murdered in the first place and what?
Shh. Let me tell you. I've been waiting to talk to you for almost 2 hours, ever since Bo said he was going to call you.
How did you know he called me?
Because he called me first. Now, shut up and listen, Colbridge.
Call me Abner. You're probably the last person who ever will.
My name's Miriam.
Taylor, yes, I heard. Who are you?
I work for Scoop, the picture tabloid. I came here tonight with Bo Peep to do a story on...
Came where? Where are we?
We're in the upstairs office of a new nightclub called The Tempest. It's owned by that maniac who calls himself Shakespeare. The room we're in is on a sort of balcony overlooking the dance floor. And that's opening night you hear out there. Shakespeare's real name is Bulwer Townsend. And he's a six-faced crook who brought an elaborate black market system over here from England 5 years ago. He's been cleaning up, of course, during the war. And now that he's out of one business, he's bought himself into another.
And where did you get all this information?
From Bo Peep tonight, before, that poor little guy.
Yeah. All right, go on.
Well, we hired Bo to do the pictures on a story for the On the Town page. He knows everybody. Anyway, this club, The Tempest, gets its name from a routine they're going to have at midnight every night. They turn on wind machines, rattle a thunder sheet, and drop confetti, and the dance floor rocks, and the band plays Stormy Weather. That's what they're out there waiting for right now.
That or listening to us. Now, what about this picture Bo had that they're all so anxious to get hold of?
I'm coming to that. When Bo and I arrived here tonight, and the real storm was on, Bo figured he ought to get a few outside shots of the club. A good angle, I thought, seeing the Tempest inside and out. and he was around the back in the alley, taking pictures in the lightning flashes, when he accidentally got the gunfight.
What gunfight?
Bo Peep told me on the phone. The way I understand it, that maniac Shakespeare and his former partner had a shoot-'em-up out in the alley. A gunfight. They've been quarreling for weeks, Bo said. And lucky little Bo just happened to get them in a shot he was taking of the old dancing girls billboard out there.
Billboard? Tell me more.
It belonged to the club that was here before Shakespeare took over and remodeled the place.
Then I did see it.
Well, everybody's seen it. But not with a murder taking place in front of it. Bo took off like a rabbit, of course, scrambled over to his place with a roll of film, phoned me, and then you. He wanted to have everything set up for the cops to walk in. A scoop for Bo Peep, and a scoop for Scoop. And he wanted your protection, I guess. I figure he just never thought about being followed.
Well, what happened to the picture?
I'm getting to that.
Well, get there faster.
Bo said he'd call me back at the club here as soon as he got the film developed to let me know if it was any good or not. I was getting interviews with everybody here and looking for angles.
Come on.
Well, I waited, and he didn't call, and there'd been plenty of time for Bo to develop and know if the negative was any good, even if it wouldn't be dry enough for printing. So I called him. Somebody answered and let me prattle on for a minute and then said, "Wrong number." But I knew it wasn't a wrong number. I know the sound of a ring on Bo's phone. There's a catch in it, like a hiccup.
I know, I was there.
You were there? With Shakespeare?
Yeah, we'll come to that. Now, wait a minute. How did you know it was Shakespeare?
I'd been talking to him, getting an interview, only an hour or so before that. You mean to tell me you wouldn't recognize that voice? A double take, maybe, but you'd recognize it.
All right, go on.
Well, I called again a couple of minutes later, and there was no answer. I knew something was cockeyed somewhere, so I went over there. I was actually sick when I saw him on the floor.
I know what you mean.
That's when I called the cops. They're just around the corner from Bo's place.
I know.
And they came, and I told them all about this, what I've been telling you. And And that's about it.
But what about the film? Shakespeare didn't get it. I haven't got it. Have you got it?
Hey, listen. Hey, there's the artificial store.
Pretty fancy. Tell me about the film.
Can't you guess where the film was?
Now, don't be cute. I haven't the faintest idea where it was.
Under Beau's body. The cops found it when they moved him after the coroner was through.
You mean they've got it now?
It's probably been developed by now. Oh, God, I'm exhausted.
Well, listen. What are you doing back here, of all places, Miss Taylor? Miriam, you're crazy to come back here.
Well, relax, will you? The place is surrounded. Droves of cops. You're as safe as your bank account. I came back here to follow the story from the inside.
But what are they waiting for? What are they...
Settle down, mister. They're waiting for the picture, that's all. They found Sammy Walston's body in the trunk of his car an hour ago.
Sammy who?
Walston. Shakespeare's partner, the guy who got the belly full of lead in front of the dancing girls and started all this. Oh, sorry. Correction. I guess Mr. Shakespeare started all this.
Well, it certainly isn't ending up the way he wanted it to. Do you have any idea at all why he left us alone together in here?
Who knows? Maybe he thought he'd find out if we were, what is it they say in detective stories? In cahoots. Maybe he thought I'd untie you so we could try to escape, and then they'd nab us out on the balcony. Maybe he was just so desperate he didn't know what else to do with us.
I feel like a fool.
You aren't a fool. You're just in the wrong business. Listen to that. Bang, bang. Ooh, sweet music. They developed the picture.
Well, untie me, will you?
With pleasure. And we need to get you to a doctor. Oh, you'd better come into the newspaper business, mister. The public eye is a lot safer than the private eye.
And so, as Raymond Chandler said, a private eye must always have a lively sense of the grotesque, especially if he's going to have to play second fiddle to a third party who happens to be a lady from the Fourth Estate. Not to mention having to let the cops rush in to do his work for him. Oh, well, maybe he needed to have a night off, just like the rest of us. I'll be back shortly.
I must say you play better and better every year.
Oh, thank you, Aunt Dorothy.
Here, Aunt Dorothy, Uncle Evan, here's the wine. Oh, Mogan David. You know, no matter when I see that name, no matter what time of year, well, I always think about my family, about all of you.
Gee, I wish you didn't live so far away.
But at least we see each other during the holidays.
Come on, let's toast Aunt Dorothy and Uncle Evan.
Here, Donnie, here's a glass for you.
Uncle Evan,
he's of age. Now, Donnie, it'll be your first sip of Mogan David. I want you to treat it with respect, okay?
I will, Uncle Evan.
Ah, sweet, sweet memories. The family back together again. The holidays. How a glass of Mogan David wine brings back all the precious memories. No wonder for a lot of people, Mogan David means home, sweet home.
To my family, I love you all very much.
Mogan David Wine Corporation, Chicago, Illinois.
The ultimate disaster. Will life on Earth be destroyed by a cataclysmic ice age? The Hab theory says yes. The Hab theory, a frightening suspense-filled prophecy of what will happen when the Earth is just moments away from catastrophe. Desperately, a president of the United States and a brilliant journalist fight to save civilization. Can they do it? Read The Hab Theory, a terrifying novel, in paperback from Popular Library.
Right now, Goodyear is cutting the deck and dealing. It's your chance to get really good low prices on Goodyear custom Power Cushion Polyglass tires. Here's the deal. Get 2 custom Power Cushion Polyglass tires for $59 size A7813 and $1.73 federal excise tax per tire and old tires. Goodyear low prices on larger sizes, too, at Goodyear stores and participating dealers. Come on in. Goodyear. It's the only game in town.
At the beginning and between the acts of our story, we included a few quotes from Raymond Chandler. And I'd like to round things off with just one more. All men must escape at times, Mr. Chandler once said, from the deadly rhythm of their private thoughts. It is part of the process of life among thinking beings. It is one of the things that distinguish us from the three-toed. Unquote. Our cast included Mandel Kramer, Jackson Beck, Patricia Elliott, Robert Dryden, and William Griffiths. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
And now, a preview of our next tale.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your hostess, Pamela Winters. There has been a temporary failure in our pressure system, and for your comfort and safety, Captain Chip Ames, our pilot, is making an unusually rapid descent. Do not be alarmed. This sudden descent is merely a safety measure. Please be sure that your safety belts are fastened and that all cigarettes are extinguished. Most of all, don't worry. There is no danger.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores and Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.